Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. It's Testimony Tuesday. Hashtag Testimony Tuesday. Hashtag Testify Tuesday challenge. Shout out to Hernan. Love you, bro. You called me out on the fact that I didn't post last week, and I loved it so much because it makes me so happy to know that people are listening. My videos are doing something. People are watching it, and people like it and might need it, or they're getting something out of it, which is the whole reason why I'm doing this. Love you. So the Tuesday before last, I had said how I was going to, instead of testifying, giving a testimony in regards to my son, because I had mentioned how important we as parents have to demonstrate to our children how necessary change is, and how change needs to be in a guided way through, and what better guided way than our Father Jesus. And if we want our children to have a relationship with Jesus, we need to demonstrate to them that we have a relationship with Jesus, and how important and honestly how easy it is to have a relationship with Jesus. It's probably one of the easiest relationships to have, if you ask me. So just to let you know, I will be having several testimonies into the relationship of my son and I, because we've been through a lot. We've had a very rough 5 to 6 years, particularly the last three. My son's senior year and particularly his freshman year in college. Both my son and I suffer severely with depression. Yep, surprise. Um, like many people, those that have severe depression issues are never the ones that you would imagine. Luckily, my family held an intervention for me, and I started seeking therapy and medication 3 years ago. My son, on the other hand, not so much. Now, little history. My son and I are very difficult human beings. Those of you that know me, I'm not an easy person, and my son is not either. You know, we're very thick-skinned, and we can sometimes be hard-souled, and we rough, man. But then by the same token, we have hearts of gold, which can sometimes bite us in the butt. Please don't mind my hair. I'm trying to let it grow out because I will be putting dreadlocks in, so it's a process. Um, Plus, it's been a long day, and I walked the dogs a little while ago, so yeah. Um, so this is going to be one of the segments, because it's actually one of the ones that has hit home, and has probably been one of the loudest prayers that Jesus has answered, the loudest, to be honest with you. So about 2.5 months ago, now, quick, my son and I, before this event that I'm going to talk about, we went years pretty much without talking to each other. He was battling a lot of drug and drinking problems, to where he got kicked out and lost a full baseball scholarship in North Carolina. That didn't help with his depression either. He pretty much tries to self medicate, and that has not been good. Associating with horrible people, that has not been good. So, in those years, I have been forced, because I can't say that no parent ever willingly and wants to kick their child out of their home, but I was forced to have to put him out to see. I had to take drastic measures, I guess, to see if he would wake up, if the light bulb would turn on. Not only that, but it came to a point that I felt that me being a mom and the love that I have for my son, because again, it's 22 years that I've been a single mom, and I've raised my son by myself. You somehow becomes you I became the enabler, and we as parents, we need to remember that sometimes we really do need to step away, step back, and let our kids go through experiences as much as it's going to kill us. Um, because we can't be in mommy mode, because if we're always in mommy mode, they're not going to learn. They're not. Um, so I felt that I needed to step off to the side, stop being mom, and allow Jesus to step in. Jesus was not able to step in and give him the lessons that he needed if I was there. Because sometimes these lessons could be a little cruel, could be a little harsh, and me as mommy, I was going to protect him. And this goes for everybody. The harder of a person you are, the rougher of a person you are, sometimes Jesus has to take extreme measures to, you know, make us get it. Our aha moments are not as simple as maybe other people. And I speak for myself. So long story short, I had set a date 2.5 months ago, 2 weeks right before classes started, that was the day that I had given my son for him to for us to have like a powwow and talk. Now again, we had not spoken, I want to say, in about a year and a half. Even though we were living in the same house, we would not talk. We had no lines of communication. So I had set that date, and I'm like, okay, Alex, you have until this date. From this date, on that date, you have to go. You have to go. I'm at home. That day comes. He goes off to work. I'm at home. I hadn't started school yet. And I'm packing his things. 10 a.m. comes along, and I get a phone call from my son. Sorry, I get a text message from my son. Now, let me tell you, again, we have not had any lines of communication for a year. My son sends me a text message at 10 a.m. while he's at work. Do you have my insurance card, or do I still have insurance? I was like, when a parent gets that, do you have my insurance card, or do I still have insurance, at 10 a.m. while he's at work? He was a plumber. It's not good. I immediately call him, and I'm like, what's going on? What happened? He's like, oh, I'm on my way to the ER, to the hospital. I cut my finger. Now, this is a kid that has had multiple stitches, so he knows when he needs stitches. Not only to mention, he has some pretty good medical knowledge, and for him to say that he's going to the hospital, I know it was serious. So he's like, I can't move my finger. This is his right hand, by the way. He's right-handed. I can't move my finger. I can't move my hand. I think I did something to my tendon. I meet him at the hospital. Long story short, he completely severed his major tendon that goes right down the hand down the middle finger, completely severed. So immediately the doctors are like, listen, he needs to have surgery immediately because the tendon only has so much time where we could restretch it and reattach it. Mama Bear kicks in, and this becomes a workman's comp situation. Those of you that have dealt with workman's comp know that it's not easy. Long story short, I start cracking up. He's like, what are you doing? Why are you laughing? I'm like, it's funny. You remember what today is. He's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, no, you're not understanding. Apparently, Jesus doesn't want me to kick you up. He apparently has another plan. Because you have to understand, every day of my life, there's two things that I tell him. It's your plan that I'm living. It's your path that I'm walking. I might ask for things and I pray for things, but I want them answered in what he feels that it's going to be convenient and for my well-being and my family's well-being. So, everything is happening. 2 days go by between appointments and surgeries and whatnot. Can I tell you, my son and I have communicated, laughing, cracking jokes, like we haven't in years in those 2 days. Why am I telling you this? Because I had decided that it was time for him to go. But because I always claim, and because it's not my plan, it's his plan. He did not feel that by me putting him out this time, that was going to be the solution to our problem. That's not what he had planned. Now, had I not been a vulnerable human being to hear the word of God and to listen for the answers to my prayers, I wouldn't have heard it. Everything would have happened. Okay, we would have gone through the recovery, and I would have had to put him out. No. We need to listen. And that is my testimony today. There's not a prayer in this world that does not go, and he answers everybody's prayer. The problem is, we're so caught up in our plan. We're so caught up in how we want to do things that we do not listen. And when I say listen, doesn't mean, oh, there's a little voice. Seeing how things play out, which is that answer that we've been asking for to that prayer. You have to understand, number one, he's going to answer it when he finds it necessary. Because if he gives us the answer when we might want it, number one, we're not going to be ready to hear it. Number two, we might not know how to appreciate it. And sometimes the answers are not what we want and what we choose. So yeah, that day, time to go. And Jesus is like, no, it's not. He's staying. And you're going to watch how this is going to fix things. 2.5, fast forward 2.5 months. My son and I have a relationship right now that we haven't had in years. There's not a day that goes, a day. I probably thank God, 60 times a day for that. We have learned so much. When I say we, my son and I, we've learned so much from each other lately. And several times, and this is what connects with my testifying last 2 weeks, our kids are watching and our kids are listening. And my kid tells me several times already, he's hinted it out, that what's causing a change in him and what's making him strong to make these better decisions and to ask for help and to seek help is because of the change that he's seen in me, which has been a drastic one for those of you that know me. So this is my Testimony Tuesday. I hope you guys take out of it what you need. I hope you followed my story to understand where I'm coming from and the message I'm trying to deliver. And I want to call out Hernan. You called me out that I didn't have my video last week. I'm challenging you, buddy. So hashtag Testimony Tuesday, hashtag Testify Tuesday. Hernan, you're my next challengee. Be the change that you need to be so that your children can see your change and evoke a change in them. So they could see how, if this person that has lived 20 years more than I have and has been through so much, God is so merciful with her, and she has become so vulnerable to listening to him. Why can't I? And again, pray, claim things over your children, because he listens, but you need to listen too. Okay? Love you guys.